Well, holiday season is almost upon us, so I'm going to show you how to make a cute little coffee bar, coffee cup holder, and all that goodies in this video. So if you want to see what I made and how I did it, well, then follow me. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter. So many of you are really into coffee bar setups, and I've had a couple requests for that. So I did come up with something I think is really unique and different for your coffee bar, and a way to display your mugs and your K-cups and all that good stuff. It's an unconventional use as usual. I guess that's kind of what I do. So I'm really excited to show you and see what you guys think about this. Don't forget, please check that description box down below, because a lot of you are interested and have asked me about how to win one of those cute little bling owl keychains that I do the drawing for once a month on the first of the month. So that link is down below, as well as a list of all the items you'll need for this project. So don't forget to get down there and check that out. So no more yapping, let's get to crafting right now. To get started on this project, I am going to take this little frame here and pull out the kitty and flip it over, and I've already marked this ahead, but I'm going to show you how I marked it to find the center. I went from the corner of the frame. This other piece is in here a little cockeyed, so I didn't use that because ultimately I want the center of the frame. And I went from corner to corner, and I made a line and a line to give me my X to the center. Then I placed my jar here in the middle, and I traced around that, and that's where I got my circle. Now I'm going to be working on getting that whole piece cut out there, and I think the best way probably for that will be to use a drill and drill a few holes in there. So I'm going to give that a try. I don't think an X-Acto knife will work on this, because I think it's, well, it might work, but it's going to be really hard to actually get the round part. But you may try scoring it a bit with an X-Acto knife. That might just work. I'm going to give that a shot and keep working on that, and then I'll show you if that works or does not work. I will let you know, and I'll let you know actually however I end up getting that center part cut out of there. Whether it's a drill or X-Acto or jigsaw or whatever, I'll keep you posted. So I've been going around scoring and scoring, and I actually made it through, and I'm going to continue trying to get through there. Actually, it's not so bad. If you score it a few times, you can kind of get through, but you have to have a good sturdy box cutter, that's for sure. And do this going away from you, and be careful of your hands. There we go. Now, I know it's not a circle, but we're going to work on the circle part too. The wire cutter actually works, and you can basically chip out this center portion until you get your circle cut out. And we don't want this circle to get too big, because we do need our jar to be firmly placed within that. So if you have like an industrial scissor or something like that, if not, this wire cutter is working great. And I'm going from the underneath side, so I have a better angle at getting the circle cut. But it's not that difficult actually. It looks harder on camera than it actually is. It is a bit messy though, as you can see. So my bottle still doesn't quite fit, so I'm gonna have to chip away a little more at a time so that I don't make it too big, but I have it big enough. Success! I have it, and you can see it's in there pretty firmly, so no worry of it moving around or wiggling and jiggling. So now that it's in there, we do want to remove also this little hook that's here. So I'm going to use my little screwdriver set from Dollar Tree. This thing comes in so handy, and I use it all the time, especially for the little battery packs for the light sets from Dollar Tree. They have those little tiny screws, so this is perfect for it. Okay, we do want to add a bunch of glue around this to hold this into place. And I'm going to be using E6000 because the hot glue won't really stick to the glass for the long term. So the E6000 is the best bet for this. And I'm going to put plenty of it on the underside and on the top side. Make sure it's right up against the glass as well. It's really important for this piece to be very firm and steady in place because this is what is going to be the base for the entire thing. And if this doesn't hold up, your whole piece will fall apart. And once this dries, I'll be able to flip it over and put glue on the other side, or at least starts to dry, because if you're using this E6000 Plus, it is a bit runnier than the regular E6000. And if I turn this over, it's just going to all ooze back down. So I'm going to let that dry, and once that's good and dry, then we'll be able to get to the next step. To help make this a little sturdier while I'm waiting for the glue to dry, both on the top and on the bottom, I'm actually going to be adding in some of this twine. It's a little bit thicker twine if you have some rope. I'm just going to, I think that will give it a little more stability and something more to kind of add more surface area to hold on to. It'll also help the glue to stick to something else and just make it sturdier all around. Next, I'm going to be using my wreath hanger, and I'm going to take and give it a bend. First of all, I want to bend this piece kind of more closed because this is where the cups are going to be hanging. And then we're going to bend it toward this other piece. And not so much from the bottom, but at this upper part. And you just bend it a little bit at a time so you don't get any kinks in it. But just work on giving it a slight bend. Here's what you want the final piece to look like. So a little bit more than a horizontal bend to this part, and that's because when you put your cup on there, it's going to add some weight, so that's why you don't want to give too much bend initially, but you also don't want to give so little that when you hook the cup it slides off this side. So once you have all 4 of your wreath hangers bent, we're going to use one of them as a kind of a guide, and we're going to put it on the corner here. They're going to be going eventually one on each of these 4 corners. Once they're in place, it's going to be really hard to paint around them. So go ahead and mark, put it in place, and then put a mark where that is going to go so that you know exactly where not to paint. We don't want to have paint on this area because we want to get our glue to really stick well. I'm going to do that on all 4 of the corners. Once you have all 4 of your corners marked, just go ahead and take a little bit of paint in the color of your choice. I mean, you can, I'm going to do black just to have it kind of tie in with the outside of my frame. Now we're going to be gluing our wreath hangers in place, one on each of the empty unpainted spots. And for that, I'm going to be using E6000 and hot glue combined. Make sure when you glue that into place, you're gluing it as close as you can to the bottle. I know I do have that twine around the bottom, but you do want to try and get that as close as possible. Once those are all glued into place, the next thing we're going to do is put some glue in between with our toothpick and E6000, just so that it can glue these to the bottle as well, but not too high up because otherwise they're just going to pull away anyway. So go ahead and just put it in there just below that curve of the bottle. And some of them may touch depending on the bend you gave to it. Some of them may not, but they will once we get our ribbon in place. So don't worry too much about that. And now we're going to be doing a really critical part that's going to keep these all in place, not only help the glue that we just put on there stick, but also keep these from just breaking right off when we hang the mugs on them. So you can choose whatever kind of ribbon you like. If you're more of a farmhousey style or more rustic look, there's this really nice burlap ribbon that I got at Dollar Tree. I like a little bit of sparkle and glam, as you know, so I'm going to go with this one right here. And we're going to cut a piece that's several inches long to be able to wrap around several times, because you do want to make sure this has plenty of strength to it. Initially, I'm going to go on and glue this with my hot glue just to hold it in place while I'm wrapping, but it's really not going to be for long-term hold because we're actually going to glue this to itself. So I'm wrapping it around really, really snug, as tight as you can get that fit to go without it ungluing off of the original little spot there. And you may want to add some hot glue just along the way, just to help with getting it to pull tighter. And then be sure to continue around and overlap multiple times where you started. So strength in numbers, right? So the more times around we go, the stronger it's going to be, and we really need this to hold well. Here's what it looks like, and we are going to go down around now again a little higher and do this again and pulling it really nice and tight. So I got this all wrapped, but I'm feeling a little insecure about it because I don't know how sturdy this ribbon is going to be with that extra weight. So I'm actually going to go back around and wrap the whole thing multiple times with this twine that I got from the Crafter's Corner or Crafter's Square. I can't remember, at Dollar Tree. Nonetheless, I'm going to go around with the twine. I'm going to start at the bottom and just wrap and wrap all the way as if I'm trying to cover it with the twine, and then I'll go over it again with the ribbon, so it's going to be ultra secure. So I'm going to continue wrapping all the way around, all the way up till I get to covering this whole ribbon, and periodically I'm adding a little bit of hot glue just to make sure that this really holds in place. This is completely wrapped and snug, and this, my friends, is not going anywhere. Now, those of you that really like that more rustic look, you can leave that and then maybe just put one round of this around it. I think that would be really cute. But again, I am going to go with my blingy stuff because that's just my style. So one more time, I'm going to give this a wrap around. In fact, I think I might just only wrap it around the center and leave a little bit of the twine showing. Now we're not dependent on it for hold though, we're just dependent on it for looks. By the way, you may also find when you're wrapping this really, really tightly, it may come apart over here, come unglued from where you originally glued this. So you can add a little more glue in there, and if you have some clamps to hold it down until it dries thoroughly, that would probably be the best thing to do, just to make sure that once again we have it really secure. Oh my gosh, guys, that whole last segment that I just did with all of this, I thought I was recording it and I wasn't. So basically what you're going to need to do is hang all your mugs on your wreath hangers because you need them to be bent and out of the way. And then you're going to take your bowl here, and what I did is added around the top rim of my jar, the green jar that I have under here, the vase, I added just E6000, no hot glue. Hot glue at this point would be pointless. It's not going to glue this stuff together, and the only thing it will do is adhere it quickly so that we can't adjust where we need to put our bowl. So I only did the E6000. My camera's doing a dance here too. So then I just put my bowl directly on there, and then if you have something that you can put in there to weight this down so that these wreath hangers don't pop it back up again, go ahead and put something in there because you do want to let this dry really, really well. Leave your mugs hanging on there and let this dry overnight. Now, if you'd like to, you can add some decorations. I can't really show you at this point, but you can add some decorations down below here on that other part. Maybe fill it in with some greenery, some poinsettias, some ornaments, or if you want to just leave that blank, you can do that because you may want to set some other things down there relating to your coffee bar.